says that all of France is a fancy, which seems to be a belief like commonly held across many Frenchmen, such as Mapu, right? Where they're like, yeah, we fancy.
There we go.
Like, I dig that. That's cool. I like it.
Well, a player that may be fancy, may not be fancy. Playing for Maturino this time, he's the Terran player. It's Future.
It's Future. And a player with a fancy beard, if he was to groom it, it is DisK. A little bit of a beast.
Yes, tell me. What is your favorite X-Men movie? And why is it Days of
My
Future
favorite
Past?
X-Men movie, and why is it Days of Future Past? I do enjoy Days of Future Past. I don't really remember the movie that well, but I do remember liking it. And as of to why, I can't tell you because I don't remember.
No, I don't know.
Why don't you tell me why I liked it?
Really, it's a really bad Future joke. That being said, Mapu would like us to remind not only you, but the audience in general, that Mapu he's a German. He's not a Frenchman. He takes great offense at you calling him a Frenchman. So we gotta.
I'm so sorry, Mapu.
We gotta clear that up, okay? You know, he was sitting here earlier talking about how, like, why in the world would a German want French bread? And there's a reason. You know, he's proud of his.
I see. My apologies, Mapu, but point stands about the French. They do like their fanciness, I think.
True.
No?
Now,
We could ask Funka. Funka's here.
does that rub off into the Quebecois, right? Because I want to say DisK is from Montreal, so does that make him fancy as well?
No chance. Yeah, the Quebecois, Adra would have had a thing or two to say about, and it would be nothing fancy, that's for sure.
Yeah, but they do have good maple syrup, so there is that.
They do.
By the way, I love that, like, I'm just 2 minutes delayed. We saw people also talking about the French Canadians, which is just, we are 2 minutes too slow. That being said, look at what Future's doing here. Proxy starport on the map. Likely it's going to be Hellion drops. This is a great counter build to what DisK does, because DisK is in love with Blink Stalkers. He's very good with them, obviously, but that's how he likes to open. In fairness, Twilight openers are pretty common in this matchup, but there are certain players that are going to do it 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10. DisK is one of those players. So open it up, Hellion drops into a Blink opener. We saw it in a series in Europe already, Cats. Doesn't feel very good for the Stalker player.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to execution and whatnot as well. DisK is a very, very good player at defending as well, at positioning. I think that's where he thrives. But on the other end of the spectrum, Future is one of the best to ever do it in North America as far as aggression is concerned. So we'll see if he can find an opening here. He's going for it. DisK is going to be caught here out on the map. No real reprieve from being close to the shield battery. Means the Hellions are going to go in. No problemo, Biomolf, and they're going to roast already a bunch of probes.
No problemo is exactly. Actually, many problemos. 6 workers go down, get 7. You know, honestly,
could have been worse.
Oh, but I love this. This wasn't hell. The proxy star is like, look, I can get it. I don't need to build a medevac. I'm gonna land a Viking. Vikings 2-shot probes. They actually do a number on it. So no mining of the natural. 9 dead probes in the main base and the natural combined. It's not the 23 probes that we saw Shadone lose to Spirit. Yeah. So this game is technically playable, but it's not a good start for DisK. Does not spark joy into this game.
But it's playable. It's playable, like you said. You know, like it's playable. Maybe if you can get a shutdown on this Viking, it's not paying attention or something like that. Blink is almost finished as well, so there is a chance maybe to kill this Viking. That would be really nice. Nah. Very sad, but at the same time, I mean, Future was hyper aggressive, so he is only at 30 workers. This Liberator looking to do a little bit more, but here's where you turn the tides, right? If you can catch the Viking, the Liberator, stuff like that, then all of a sudden you get map control, and it looks good.
Well played. I think this Viking dies. Nope, not.
Nah,
can't
yeah,
chase
he dies
it in
now.
time.
He stopped.
So
he stopped moving.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, he stopped moving. That's his own fault. This Liberator goes way too deep and at a terrible angle as well. So that should mean it's very difficult to escape, right? Like there's so much surface area where the Stalker. You know what I'm saying? Like you should have just been at an angle where you should be able to unsiege and get out, and there shouldn't be this much chase potential by virtue of there being so much area under you.
He's got another one before he sends the starport back home, but the big value, right, from sending the Viking over and sending the Liberator over and sending another Liberator over is that Future has done a really good job of keeping DisK back home. He's gotten a lot of damage, absolutely, but by sending these Liberators in sequentially, he forced all the Stalkers that had that blink timing, that wanted to be on the map and, you know, get something done. And it's like, no, not worth it. Run back home. You got to handle this. You're going to lose a couple more probes. You may get my Liberator, sure, but I'm not going to allow you to be on the map, which is great because, well, Ghost River is a rather short rush distance. You can run Stalkers across very quickly. It's a pretty big area for Stalkers to blink into the main. All of that together means that if DisK got over there and he had proper vision before Future got up to his 3 tanks, counter damage could have been done. But by forcing him back with the Liberator, he just makes it really hard for DisK to do that. And now, I mean, Future is well set up. He's got his 3 tanks. Stim's obviously not going to be for a while, but he's got his tanks and his Sim City and everything else that he could possibly want. Although, as I say that, he's getting ready for a push right into Stalkers. He's not seized for this.
That's very bad timing. That's very bad timing for Future. Oh, but DisK is also messing up. DisK actually probably clicked the shift click into the main and it didn't work or something like that. I'm not sure why he walked into the natural instead of blinking into the main. That would have been such a power move if he had just gone for it, but takes the long way around, which means Future is now on his tail as far as the army is concerned, and in fact even planning for a full surround when DisK tries to evacuate. Luckily for DisK, he kind of just blinks onto the corner and then recalls from the high ground so he doesn't get exposed to the low ground forces that Future was setting a trap with. But yeah, I mean, Future still gets a lot out of it, and the Liberator on the other side kills off a few probes. So all in all, happy will be the Terran.
Happy will be the Terran. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and while Future's trying to carry the crown right now, Stim is finally going to be done. That was what was weird about Future's push. He was moving like a solid minute before Stim combat shields +1 was done. Kind of an anti-timing, really, and I guess maybe you're trying to catch your opponent off guard by it. But now, don't fight into this, Future. My goodness, what a horrible idea. The tanks are going to siege up, but I mean, the Colossus are here. They're immortals.
Horrible idea.
What? Well, all of a sudden, the game is very even. In fact, one might even say DisK favored. Well, that's a big Widowmine shot that does help out quite a bit.
That is a massive Widowmine shot.
The high ground is just so good. And this Colossus here, the Immortals. Now, the one thing we're talking about, the third base is not even close to being done for DisK. That was delayed for quite a while. He did commit to this 2-base Blink Stalker Colossus idea. So he doesn't have the big economy behind it that he might like. And I certainly don't like him going and getting aggressive past this. But he slaps that down for Future. I mean,
he slaps it. Yeah. Not even close.
Now, the other problem, right, we talked about the third base being delayed. He wasn't building a second Colossus in the middle of that fight. Robo wasn't spending any of its build time as that was happening. I get, you know, again, you're focusing on microing the fight. But DisK could have a second Colossus done, third one, I don't know, 20% done already. So having that really powerful 3 Colossus timing against this Terran player that we're going to assume doesn't have a lot of anti-Colossus deck. He just committed to the push. It didn't work. Even if he's adding in Vikings now, he's only going to have 4 medevacs. Maybe he'd like to be at 1 or 2 more. So he's having to make sacrifices to deal with this Colossus pressure. And if DisK was able to go and effectively, have his third Colossus just about done by now, maybe there's some time he can look at it. But for now, drops on the other side, medevac. You don't want to lose that actually again because you're committing starport timing to Vikings. That's going to get 1 probe. Nice retargeting action. Get the Stalker. You take that if you're Future.
Yeah, I mean, uses a lot of time in the process as well. But yeah, it's okay. I mean, as far as supply is concerned, it seems to still be competitive in spite of those good moves to bring back DisK into the game. As he now finds the medevac. But who do you think? Yeah, do you like Future's position better? I like DisK's.
DisK's economy was slowed down a little bit, but Future had to build his third base on location. Like, I really like DisK's position.
Oh, really? Let's bet $15.
With these Vikings, I guess they're looking for a warp prism.
$5 cash.
$5? $5 that DisK wins this game?
I bet you a meal next time I see you.
All right.
I got Future, you got DisK.
Okay. I mean, granted, this game, I feel like late game is still pretty rough for Protoss players. I think DisK right now is in a solid spot. Does that mean he wins the game? I don't know, but I'll take your bet.
We're talking about Future. You think there will be a late game?
Oh, this is very fair. For now, though, nice scout out there from DisK. He sees, okay, he knows where the army is. That's a big deal. He does have to be worried about this attack right here. Right, there are a decent number of Vikings. High ground position can be scary. Does have
Listen, Bio, this is where my chip was at. I wish there was a little bit of an SCV pool. Like right now, you look at the Zealots, you should just get angry and be like, you know what? You're taking a counter attack. I'm just gonna bring my SCVs, and then go for it, and then do the future thing. I think that's a thing that he does. Yeah, why don't we look at the third and expect an SCV pool in the next 5 seconds? 5, 4, 3, 2. That's not gonna work. That's okay.
I wouldn't hate it though. You know, the 3 ghost SCV pull is a classic idea.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Hasn't really been a thing in Legacy of the Void, but wasn't Heart of the Swarm, wasn't Wings of Liberty. So
no, I mean no. Like these things are not a thing for anyone but Future, right? But Future is willing to do this sort of thing is the thing. So that's the only reason I thought it was possible, but he's not gonna go for it this time around. Just kind of transitioning further into the further stages of the game, right? This is not his mantra usually. No. So let's see what happens.
What do you make of this +1 air? I mean, Liberators are good, but it doesn't. Man. Nice job there. EMPs actually really don't land all that well. DisK does a really nice job of making sure his Colossus stay alive, gets the pot shots. But it feels, you know, Liberators are good. Absolutely. Oh God, what are you doing, DisK? That I don't know what he.
I'm not sure what that was. Yeah.
Did he get a ghost?
I'm not sure what he clicked on to make that happen.
He got a medevac. It's something, I guess. But it does feel like
Disruptors. Oh no, Future, please. Nice Tim.
Yeah. It does feel like it's a little bit too early to make that like air transition where mass liberators are a thing. So Futures feels like he's committing. I mean, getting +1 air, I guess, will eventually be good for +2 liberators. This Widow Mine has gotten so much done. Cats.
Love it. Future taking a 4th base. I'm not sure what's going on, but that's okay. That's good. I like it. I mean, he did have a training arc in Korea as well as of recently. Future did. And he had some impressive results, some insane games as well. Saw him take 1 or 2 from Hero, for example. He was a little bit of a beast during this arc, so
yeah, he was playing really well. Now, this is a little bit awkward, right? EMPs take half the damage off the Stalkers. You're not feeling all that comfortable. And DisK is rapidly getting to that point. So his army right now, tremendously powerful. He does need a 4th Nexus, or he needs to run across the map and in the game. Oh, man, that felt like not a good shot. Felt like it could have been a really good shot. These DTs EMP'd as well. There's detection there. There's nowhere for them to go. And at this point...
SCVs. No?
That's just fine. That's just another clump of army running onto the other side of the map.
It's just not happening.
No, he's on 4 bases. This is past the SCV pull timing. Oh, Widow Mine. It's a Stalker.
The SCV pull time.
Yeah, you don't really want to go for it anymore. Now, the Vikings are exposed. 1 or 2 of them are going to go down. The Colossus are still here. But it feels like we're getting past the... Like, DisK needs to do something. He needs a 4th base. He needs to attack into things. He needs to get this... Still not getting anything. Okay. He needs to win a good fight or expand. Right. Future has 3 command centers on the way right now. And you know what? I got a mule riding on this game right now. So DisK had a really good position from like minute 8 to 10.
We're talking like about like a meal as well. We should specify it's like a nice meal. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't like. I'm liking this less and less, cats.
Well, you think you're gonna take me to Waffle House, or?
Please, Mr. DisK, get me off this wild. Get me off to Mr. DisK's wild ride.
Good EMP there. Shaves off a Zealot very easily. Another one. That one didn't die. The flank though from the Disruptor's gotta be really careful. But his opponent whiffs and doesn't cancel the expansion, so Future is flawless here.
Yeah, this is just hard.
It's tough.
DisK has an army that can win. If he's able to take a straight up fight, I mean, look at our Viking count. It's 4 Vikings, 3 Colossus.
Yeah.
The Colossus can stand strong. There's a ton of Disruptors as well. The problem is, he's just not allowed to move out. Future's got an army on the right side. He's got an army on the bottom side. He's just sitting there. He's not allowing a 4th base. He's not allowing DisK to ever take a fight. And the moment, I mean, I like this actually, triggering on right now, keeping the Disruptors back at home to make sure you can try to take one army and have enough defense elsewhere. And finally, DisK is trying to punish this, but like, corners are a Terran's best friend. Running around the corners like that, only a small subsection of your army can ever really take the fight. So even as this is finally DisK trying to punish the Terran, he's doing it down upgrades. His double forwards hasn't really found its way forward yet. And it doesn't really trade all that well. So even still, and now DisK is bringing himself back to the 3rd base, trying to bring his army together. And guess what? His fourth base is going to get canceled again. And Future just not letting him play a game of StarCraft is the long and short of it here. He's letting him play. He's going to lose the disruptors as well. Yeah, this is just...
to some of those. Oh, no.
Oh, there we go.
Massive disruptor shot. Maybe this is go time for DisK. I mean, he is he has a lot of army. He is crossing the map right now with the good old F2. Everything is joining together. There is no need for further groups now as Future tries to maybe look for something like somewhat of a flank or something of the sorts. He will find these disruptors potentially with his army in the middle of the map if they're not careful, as I don't know that DisK knows where Future is. Now he does via observer a blink forward. He's gonna allow Future to turn around and trade somewhat efficiently, at least to start the engagement, as he tries to get a pincer on the other side, perhaps onto the disruptors.
Oh, the disruptors are so far behind here, and look, even if they... Okay, he's gonna kill the army on the left side. Disruptors, on the ghost only gets one. That was almost so bad for DisK, but instead, actually, it's gonna turn out fairly nicely for him. He's got a bank. Future's mining incredible amounts more. Future's got 4 knocks, and DisK is Zimbabwe in dollars here in terms of economy. It's not good.
Yeah, but Future's gonna have to slow him down, and he knows that DisK wants to plow through and push as fast as possible, but his disruptors have actually derped off to the side. They need to start moving with the rest of his army, I think, if he's gonna, want to try to corner Future and try to end this game. The disruptors are not there. Future's looking with the scan for the disruptors, and that's what allows him to pick off an extra Colossus and Immortal on the retreat, because DisK didn't have those disruptors there to shield them.
Oh, God,
so very nice job from Future. He's gonna find an additional 2 or 3 disruptors as well. I think one of those shots connects, but the rest just simply do not. And now trailing behind are all the disruptors, and things are falling apart for DisK and the entirety of Quebec, Canada, as they break in tears. And Biomov now owes me a delicious meal at let me think about that. At a French restaurant.
A French restaurant,
not a French Canadian restaurant.
Man, Cats, when I said I'll take that bet, DisK was in a good spot. He had a good army. His economy was doing well. It was faster than Future's. He had everything he wanted. And then he just doesn't take a 4th base, doesn't attack. Future doesn't let him. The army splits aren't good enough, and Future takes like 5 bases. So, yeah, I owe you a meal, sure.
It's a nice one.
We'll take you to Taco Bell, McDonald's or something. There we go.
Taco Bell. We're talking Fogo de Chao at least. No,
Cat's trying to bankrupt me here.
At least, I mean, we're I was with Kelleser also in the Netherlands. He was saying Fogo de Chao's not even like top tier.
Actually, I do know of a really nice French place in Dallas. So if you show up to Dallas,
there you go. Like if I
got up, you.
Yeah. Nice.
My dad actually used to live in Dallas a long time ago, and the guy that owns this restaurant used to own a previous restaurant that my dad loved and was like friends with, and it's this awesome little French bistro. That being said, DisK, just I split the army better, get a warp prism across the map, something. It was just a slow death, and it's just, as a Protoss player, that doesn't feel very good, right? It's like that felt like a game that DisK could win, as we are in the wrong lobby. So,
oh, that's bad.
We got to make a new lobby.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was winnable for both players, I think. Future did really well at the start. It could have been worse, though. Like I feel like when the 4 Hellions get into the main, or 6 Hellions, or whatever that was, 4 Hellions and 3 Reapers, and they only kill like 7 workers, that was kind of wild, actually. I thought they were going to kill so much more. And then DisK did kind of stabilize, right? Like he did well to stabilize. But yeah, when I saw the 3 ghosts, I thought, okay, like maybe Future will come with a SCVs and end the game or something of the sorts. Wasn't the case, but he ended up winning anyway. We're here for the W's.
And hey, look, again, this is like there were a year ago, we would have said, oh yeah, like a year and a half ago, DisK was like not at the Scarlet Estrella level, but like just below them. He topped his group 2 seasons ago, I think it was. But we're not. And it's like, oh, well, the Future wasn't actually in this incredible form. But DisK is not, just does not appear to be in the same form that he was a year and a half ago. And Future is, again, looking really good. We talked about the Korea training arc. Again, taking maps off Hero, doing like he had a great last season as well. So it's good to see that he's continuing to do that one. And, well, for now, DisK is down 1, which means we get to move. And let me find Mapu. There we go. Which means we get to move into game number 2 of this series. Does Future 2-0? Does DisK have something in store for us?
We'll need to find out. As we are now loading into the game, and at the bottom and at the top left-hand side, it is for Apprentice Esports, and hailing from Quebec, Canada, it is DisK. Trailing 0-1.
The bottom right in the red, costing me a nice meal somewhere. For Maturino, it's Future.
What a beast.
And, you know, Cats, I love Future's response to the fact that the Colossus, I just did a really good job of keeping this Colossus alive. But I love Future's response to that. It's like, no, I'm not going to build 9 to 12 Vikings, right? 3 or 4 Vikings per Colossus is generally a good number. I'm not going to do that. I got 4 Vikings. I got 6. It's fine. I'm just going to make it so my army is 75% Marauders, and I'm just not going to take damage from any of your Colossus. And there we go. Very easy.
Definitely a way to do it. And yeah, that was pretty cool. Well done from a Future. He's a very aggressive player traditionally, though, so also props to him for keeping his composure and just kind of like, you know, evolving past that point and going to the 4th and you know, like making like some tech units and ghosts, not pulling his SCVs. It takes a lot of restraint.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's growing as a player, you know.
That career training arc, you know, I think back, you know, what was it, 2013? Scarlet goes to Korea for a while, comes back with just like some of the best muta control that we've seen, just incredible macro goes, and, you know, it suddenly starts challenging for tournament championships. Doesn't quite make it, but it has this incredible rivalry versus Bomber. Like her Korean training arc was probably the biggest swing in form, or biggest like improvement in form that we've seen. You think about like Korean arcs, I think that's fair to say,
yeah,
right?
I'm not sure. Maybe. I'm not sure when it began, but I know that Scarlet was insane before going to Korea, right? Like that's probably why she goes to Korea in the first place, but like even as early as the early IPLs, like all the Koreans were scared of her in CVC in particular, for example. Like when you would talk to Linok and whatnot, like he would be like, oh, Scarlet CVC, you know, that's where you should be scared.
Yeah.
So she was, I don't know, Sasha was insane, like pretty much since the beginning of her career.
Yeah, and I think back to that 2013 training arc, because that was when you started to hear it's like, yeah, Scarlet actually just doesn't lose in ZBT to the Koreans. Now, granted, unfortunately, she did lose to Korean Terrans in offline events, because obviously land form is very different from, you know, Team House or Customs or playing on ladder or whatever it is. But yeah, no. We've seen some good results, and Future seems to be benefiting, right? That was... Yeah. Even after that, attack up the gullet was not good whatsoever. Future played the mid game very well. He played more of a macro game. Like he actually is. Yeah. He's playing like a more well-rounded Terran.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up?
Game 2, Future and DisK. That's what's up.
Yeah, that's cool. Like you cut off for a couple of seconds there, but yeah, I was gonna say like Future's Korea arc also was with Scarlet, right? Like Scarlet and Astraea and Future pretty much living together for that duration. So he did get some good guidance, if you will.
And I think actually it's probably fair to say that, yeah, I think Astraea's actually Korean training arcs have been extremely productive as well. The difference between a good North American Protoss player and, you know, the best probably player in North America right now. I don't think that's all that controversial to say that Astraea is number 1, certainly now that Neve has retired. So yeah, it's these players that go, and certainly the Union Team House is no longer there anymore, which is, you know, a little bit sad. Thank you, COVID. But even still, we got that. So for now, these Stalkers are so well positioned here. This medevac is gonna get the Widow Mines out. Certainly, Blink is done in 3 seconds. So, you know, actually this unburrow hurts, because right now the Stalkers cannot blink both. Okay, they could have outblinked both, and now they're gonna lose 2 Stalkers and 2 probes. DisK was like so well set up for this, and you know, he still gets the medevacs and gets the Widow Mines, but 2 Stalkers, 2 probes for a Widow Mine, 2 Widow Mines and a medevac. You're actually really happy about that if you're Future.
Yep, and DisK is going to want to try to equalize things on the other end of things, warp in and try to make something happen, but Future will already have a tank, and it will be sieged by the looks of it, make it 2. So yeah, DisK is going to probably struggle to break this. The supply depot is on the way alongside the bunker here at the front to help make for chokes and just slow down his opponent. And Future is very well defended inside his main, so low potential for something to be made happen here by DisK.
Yeah, well, for now he's going to get on top of the tank, and that's a decent start. Certainly, Stim is not even close. Stim's not even started, right? So these Marines today, there's a medevac that's going to keep him alive. But DisK, you say low potential to get something done here. He thinks otherwise. 13 SCVs are going to go down. Yes, there's a Liberator on the other side, getting some level of counter damage. But DisK is too blinks.
Far and deep.
Yeah.
My God.
That was 21 dead SCVs. And if he just pulled the probes away from his main base, I think he's in a wonderful spot. But as it stands, loses a lot there. Doesn't feel all that great. Bunker is not going to go down. Commits to it. Loses a couple stalkers.
That's tough.
Man. That felt...
What do you think about a double or nothing bet type deal right now?
Double or nothing? I feel far less confident about DisK's game in this game number 2 than I did in game number 1.
Fair.
Like, if you hadn't lost those 11 probes, I'd say, yeah, 100%. Let's go. But as it stands, the tank count is at 2. So not the 3 that you would like to really cover, but they're medevacs that make these Marines fight a little bit better. The bunker still hasn't died. Future is equal on workers with DisK, which is that horrible situation you deal with as a Protoss player. You want to be up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 workers. Stalkers try to show up in the middle line. The tank's just bombing them down. Does not get enough damage done. And DisK, like that attack into his main base, into Future's main base, incredible. Nice timing, takes advantage, knocks the tanks down. SCVs have to get pulled. It's great. But he doesn't warp in any stalkers at home. Loses 11 probes, and all of a sudden you're like, well, yeah, DisK, you got damage, but you took more than you did in the context of the game.
He freaked out a little bit on the end too, right? Like I feel like he maybe could have continued to stay there for a little bit longer. I don't know if he could have maybe at least picked off the tank before being forced to blink down and retreat. So yeah, I think this could have definitely done a little bit better, but obviously it's very difficult to multitask and keep up with your opponent while they do all sorts of crazy things to distract you. As the war person now almost flies on top of the army, but doesn't quite. And Future looks ready to move out and potentially close out this series.
Yep, +1 done, Stim done, combat shields done as well. We got everything that I know, concussive shells, but we got everything else we could possibly want. And now DisK, it's a Hail Mary. It's on the Dark Templar, and guess what? The scan up the high ground shows that the Dark Templar are there. So the first 2, the defensive DTs, they're already dead. Stalkers from the backside gotta get on top of this tank. Also, they don't benefit from shield batteries. So, I mean, they do, but the shield battery's not in range, so they're not going to be able to do all that much. DT's on the other side, though. Well, the missile turret's done. In the main base, in the natural. This gets nothing done here. And I don't know if we have a scan, Cats, that may eventually make these defensive DTs do something, but it's 16 dead probes. There's the scan. There's the dead DT. Stalkers, they're going to blink as well as they can, but Cats, you know this story as well as I do. Blink Stalkers against Stimmed Bio are just not good. They're just horrible.